Hello, everyone, and welcome to workshop number 1, digital storytelling. I don't know if we met yesterday. You might have seen me talk to some of the teacher monitors. But this is, as we described yesterday, it is a bit of an intensive filmmaking digital storytelling workshop. So we're going to be keeping on you. You need to get some work done pretty quickly. And at the end of it, we're going to have a YouTube playlist with all of your digital stories. And it's going to be really awesome. And I hope that you are inspired to make more after this workshop is over. And you're going to have my contact information. If you have any questions at any point, please contact me and I'd be happy to help. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and you're going to see a presentation that will help us go through the first day. I'm going to give you an overview of what a digital story is and the pre-production phase. So here we go. Have I worked with any of the students before in this group? Anyone? Does anyone know me? No? Oh, okay.
You should say yes or no.
I know you.
No, not in this class.
I guess I should say I don't even know who's here today, so we will stop for attendance. But do you want to just give a preamble? Then I guess they don't even know who you are, and I haven't really told the students too much about it.
Sure. Yeah. Sorry about that. So my name is Jessie Carell, and I live in Montreal, and I am a media educator and filmmaker, and so I've been teaching people, not just youth, but youth and teachers and adults and elders, how to make movies in every part of Canada. Every province and territory. I spent a lot of time in Northwest Territories though, and I've also done work in different parts of this world, different countries, and I really like it. I really love my job. I used to work with the National Film Board for 5 years as an education specialist, and part of what I do is try to get people to think about what kind of media that we're seeing, right? Like if it's a YouTube video, music that we're listening to, podcasts, books that we're reading, websites, Instagram, and to start thinking about it with a bit of a critical eye. So thinking about who made it, why did they make it, do I like it, do I have a problem with it? If I had a chance, would I make it differently? And so instead of passively consuming media, right? Like when you watch a YouTube video, it's entirely passive. Like there's nothing that you have to do. You can just sit there and you're watching and you're listening, and it's just so easy, and it's awesome. We love video, and we're gonna make one. With radio, with podcasts, and with reading, it's more active. Like it's you have to act when you're reading. You have to actually imagine what's happening as you're reading it. Same with the radio. When you listen to the radio, you have to imagine what they're saying and who's saying it, and it's a bit more active. So what I'm trying to do is get you from being passive consumers of media to active creators, because it's really fun. We can now, right? In this digital world where everyone has access to some small amount of technology at least, we can make our own stories digitally, and then we can share them on the internet if we want to. We don't have to, but we can. It's a very exciting time. And it's also a crazy time in school right now because technology is really changing the game of what a classroom is, right? Like it's not, back in the day, it used to be a teacher had the information, had the knowledge, and the students sat there, and the teacher would give the knowledge, and the students would hear it, and they would memorize stuff, and then they would write tests and write essays. Things have changed a bit, and things are changing even more every day. It's really exciting. Where now things can happen outside of the classroom, like this workshop, for example. You can Skype with other classrooms. You can look at cams, like cameras in eagles' nests, and learn about science that way instead of reading it in a textbook. It's a very exciting time to be in education and to be in the media world. As we know, there's so much media. It's very exciting. And so instead of me telling my own story, I find it really fun to teach other people how to make their own movies. Because I've seen how excited people get when they share their story. There's such a value in expressing yourself and in this way. It's also a job. So if you're into filmmaking, you can be a filmmaker. There's a whole wide range of jobs that you can do on a film crew, for example. There's sound, there's style, right? There's fashion, there's catering, there's the actual cinematographer. Nathan did his degree in film. He could probably speak more to this, but there's just so many different things that you could do on a film crew. So if this is like really like, ooh, I like this way of storytelling, then I'd be happy to help you and learn more about different film schools in Canada or anywhere. So that's what I do. I also, last year I spent 4 months in NWT working with youth and elders. I went to several different bush camps, and it was great. It was great. I learned a lot. I have a lot to learn, of course, and I was bringing iPads with me and teaching people how to make digital stories, just like you're doing with me here. So Megan and I met last year in Inuvik, and she asked if we could transform the hands-on workshop into a remote one, and it's gone really well. 3 of the digital stories from our first workshop went to TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, which is the biggest film festival in the world. And it was a really big deal for the students that had never made a movie before, and then here they are on this huge scale. It's very exciting, and they're talking about their own lives. And people in Toronto wanted to hear about it. Like it's a lot of people have never been to Northwest Territories, and they were excited to hear the stories. So you never know where your digital story will go. If you do a good job, I have a lot of contacts all across Canada, and people regularly ask me, do you have any cool stuff that you've been making with kids? And I say, maybe I do. And who knows what's happening. It's crazy. It's a very exciting time. So I hope that you like this workshop and that you have fun with it. And I hope that you're writing to me, and if you want to text me, I'll help you realize your digital story dream. That sounds cheesy, but you know what I mean.
We have a weird view of you, Jessie. We can see ourselves and on the screen, and maybe the back of your laptop. You have a Mac open right now with Keynote on the top. Better. Okay. And we can be talking, but now we can see you.
Okay. I was just a voice before. Just a creepy voice. Just kidding. Okay, so should we start? Should we start? Okay. Can you see my screen?
We can in a new day.
No, we can.
I think you just went from your screen to yourself.
Say that again, John?
I'm going to...
I think you just went from your screen to yourself.
I can't hear you.
Let's see.
Can you hear her?
Is this better? Can you see this? Can you see digital storytelling?
Yeah.
Everyone can see this? Yeah, okay. Okay, so the workshop outline is as follows. Today we're going to talk about what is a digital story and pre-production. This is kind of this is the first step that we're going to do. Tomorrow,
we don't have any sound from you.
Bizarre. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, we can't see you now.
You don't need to see me. Can you see the workshop outline?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna hang up and try again. Okay.
Okay.
The Cisco meeting. You are entering the meeting now.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Megan and Kaylee. I see you now.
Hello.
Kaylee, guess what I'm going to say to you besides Happy Spring Break?
What's that?
I said, Kaylee, guess what I'm going to ask you to do besides say Happy Spring Break? Like, happy, nice to see you again. I'll give you a hint.
What's the hint?
I have phone in my hand. Right, good. Our screen quality is much better now.
Okay, great. Do you hear
And
me?
sound sounds better. Yeah.
Okay, you can hear me and see the workshop outline page?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so today, introduction. Tomorrow, introduction to editing. Thursday is individual appointments with each community. And then Friday, the final workshop. And the digital story needs to be completed by then. We will, and then after that, we're going to be uploading all the digital stories to YouTube, a YouTube playlist, and Google Drive, so everyone can then see each other's, unless you want it to remain private, of course. Okay, so analog versus digital. This is an important shift. I was kind of alluding to it earlier, where now we can all make movies, and we should, I think. It used to be very expensive, and now we can with our phones. So we're going to use a few different things to make this digital story project, but it's a very big deal now that we can, it's production and then distribution. These things have completely changed in the last 20 years, and it's not just a few people that can tell stories in this way. Now we all can. So I really hope that this catches on, especially working with a lot of elders. I mean,
Get me into the meeting with this right now.
Sorry?
So I just, my camera was working, and then we signed on to the call, and then it stopped working as soon as we entered the call.
Oh, okay.
So I gotta restart my camera.
Okay. So
So you're back now? Nathan, you're back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
Thanks. Sorry, Jesse.
That's
Keep
okay.
going here.
That's okay. I was saying that there's such a, I mean, it's really fun and important, I think, to be making digital stories and movies like this. I was speaking about the elders because there's so many stories that the elders have and knowledge that we can be documenting their knowledge and stories through this format, and as well as our own knowledge and our own stories. So I hope that some of you are inspired to continue these projects and go out into your communities and document the people around you. Okay. With this exciting time does come a responsibility, though, because we don't want to cause any harm, right? Certainly, if I'm talking about elders, you don't want to be having elders' voices on a digital story and them not liking it, and then you publish it on YouTube, and then they find out about it and they get really upset. As just one example, you need to be very careful about who is in your digital story. You can ask permission, right? Just ask permission. That's like the rule of thumb. Just be courteous, be kind. You don't want to have a photo that you don't like of yourself on the internet. So don't put a photo of someone else without asking them. So those are your family members, your friends, photos of yourself. You don't have to ask yourself permission, or animals, I guess. But just be mindful. Be mindful of the power that comes with filmmaking. We just don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. We want to just make the most of this experience and of this medium. So what is a digital story? It's very simply your voice with narration, your visuals with photos, the emotion is going to be the music, and then the text will be the title and credits. So it's really not complicated. It's not. Like, I've taught elders who have hard time seeing. I've made digital stories with them. I've made digital stories with 10-year-olds. It's not a technically very challenging project. The challenge comes in the story, right? Your narration. What are you saying? Are you talking about yourself? If so, I want you to think deeper about different things other than just saying your favorite color is red. Like let's think a bit deeper about it, and let's spend some time kind of finessing it and making sure it flows. I mentioned in this morning's workshop this importance of an arc, a story arc. So another easy way to explain that is a beginning, middle, and an end. And I have a storyboard template that you guys will have to fill out. And there's a few questions that will help guide you if you really are at a loss. And we'll get to that now. So the three main stages of video production are pre-production, production, and post-production. And all filmmakers go through these three phases. The pre-production, you have to organize your thoughts. You have to get organized. That's the only word I can think of just to describe this step. Before you get into the actual creation of it, you need to sit down, spend some time reflecting on what's important to you. What do you want to say? How do you want to use this time? How do you want to use this workshop? And making sure that you give it the best chance that it can of succeeding. So that first stage involves brainstorming ideas, and maybe you want to brainstorm with a friend of yours. Maybe you want to brainstorm with your mom. You can brainstorm by yourself or with other people. You can also do research online if you need. If your topic would definitely benefit from learning statistics or facts or history, you can do that. Also, I mentioned this morning that part of the research that you can do in this stage is watching the other digital story examples that I sent in 2 links. So please watch those and just try to think about them with a critical eye. Some of them could use some help in terms of audio recording, right? The sound might not be very clear. Someone might be speaking really quickly. The photos might not be just perfect the way you may want them. And I want you to take note of that stuff because that's going to help your digital story. for example, with the sound recording, okay, first of all, one thing that you need to know is no one likes the sound of their own voice recorded. So if you're like, I don't want to record my voice, I don't really believe you. I think it'll be good. It really does change the power of your digital story if you include your voice versus just text. It doesn't have the same punch to it. I really, really must insist that you try to record your voice. And you're going to have to practice and like rehearse. I think it's not going to just happen the first time. Give it a few chances, and you're gonna stumble. You're gonna maybe stutter. That's totally okay. Try it again if you want, or keep it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I definitely would ask you to try. And then the storyboard and narration. So this is the kind of the concrete backbone to your digital story, which you need to email me by tomorrow at 5 p.m. And so this is one page. You don't have to do this. It's just an option for people that like visual, just visual layouts of things. These are, imagine where it says photographs. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames. Imagine those are photos. So if you're trying to think about how do I want to tell this story with photos, you would start to describe, okay, so this is that photo, next. And then what type of narration am I going to say for each photo? That's one way to start. And the other way is this way, which is just writing out your text, writing out what you're going to say. And then the photos would come after. And you would have it all in your timeline when you're editing, and you'd have it all come together, which I'll show you tomorrow. So this is one way to start. These 3 questions: who am I? Where have I come from? Where are you going? And how will you get there? And I've said it so many times already, but I need to remind you that this really is not the only way to go. If you have your own ideas for how you want the narration to flow, please do that. This is really to help you if you're stuck, because most people get overwhelmed by thinking, I don't know what I want to do. So this is a really great start, and it's all the projects I do with these 3 questions work out really well. So it's here for you if you want to do it this way. Great. So the who am I? So what is your name, age, community, family, languages you speak, cultural background, beliefs, activities you do for fun, things on your mind, etc. That's an important activity for anyone to do. Is like just take a moment and like reflect on how you identify. Right? Like a lot of the people that I work with will say Dene, right? I'm Dene, and that's the most important thing to me. And I ask, okay, great. So like describe to me what that means to you. You're Métis? Okay, great. Well, what does that mean? How do you connect with that? Is your grandpa the one that really taught you about being Métis? Tell me about that. So like trying to kind of go a bit deeper than just saying like, my name is Jessie, I'm 37, done. Like that's not very interesting. Like go a bit deeper. I want to hear about it, and so do other people. And it's also, it's important. This is important stuff. Also, where have I come from? That's the second part. So how would you describe your life so far? Has it been all awesome? Probably not. Maybe you want to talk about some of the cool things that you've done. Maybe you want to describe some of the things you've overcome. Maybe some of the successes. Maybe you won a hockey tournament. Maybe you want to talk about it. Maybe you want to talk about all of it. Who knows? Give us an idea of who you are, right? Like I want to know more about you. And then the third part is the future. So where are you going, right? And how will you get there? So this is an important step for anyone too in terms of setting goals, and also it's just interesting as well. I'd love to know what you want to do, right? Do you see yourself in 10 years? I don't know, the sky's the limit. Do you want to go to university? Do you want to work? Do you not want to work? Do you want to be on the land? Do you want to run bush camps? Do you want to be a cook? Do you want to be a mother? What do you I want to know whatever's on your mind, and then how will that happen? So every goal has to have some kind of planning, and it's a really concrete way to put that into action. So like I've had students that are like, I want to be an RCMP officer, and I'm like, okay, great. So what does that involve? And they're like, oh, I've never really thought about it. And it's like, yeah, well, it's not going to happen if you don't know how. Like, you need to actually go to school, you need to get trained. So then they would go back to doing research, right? This is part of the pre-production phase. So looking up, Googling, a simple Google, how do I become an RCMP officer in Canada? And then they'll give you a list of schools and tests and da-da-da. So you could talk about that. This kind of 1, 2, 3 is that nice kind of beginning, middle, and end. You're changing it a bit because this is kind of the middle. Who am I? Where have I come from is the past, and where are you going is the future. But you get the idea. So there's a kind of a nice flow to that. And you could change that up. You could start with where are you going? Then you could say who are you, and then where have you come from? I mean, it doesn't have to be in the same order. You can get creative. I'm a creative person. I love hearing new ideas, and I'm going to say yes to pretty much anything. But I will look at your narration for grammar and for flow. So when you send it to me tomorrow, that's what you're going to get feedback from. And you don't have to accept the suggestions either. I'm just trying to help, and I found that it works really well with students who, because we don't have a lot of time to write this, it'll help to have it edited by someone else, I think. Are there any questions about this?
Say yes or no. No.
Okay. So I hope that things are happening for you right now in terms of what you want to say or what your digital story is going to be about. Other ideas, and I use these examples from other workshops that we've done with Megan and her classes, her e-learning classes. Murdered or missing Indigenous women, bullying, climate change. There's a lot of issues that you may want to be talking about here, and this is a place to do it. I really do encourage you to explore that, and yeah, I mean, it's just fun. It's fun and it's cool, and I think when it's not just with the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women project, it wasn't just this is a thing that's happened. It's this is a thing, it's happening, and this is how I relate to it as an Indigenous woman. Right, so there's a personal connection because I want to really hear about your take on this stuff. This is a personal narrative. It's a personal documentary. So yeah, this isn't like one day in 1939 there was a da-da-da-da. It's not like that. It's very much like this is your story about you, and you use the I, right? Like I am this, and this is my name. Da-da-da-da. So
can I add something, Jessie?
Yeah.
I'm proud of everybody who finishes, but the most successful pieces, for example, the 3 that Jessie then connected well with and sent off to Toronto International Film Festival, were real stories. So having said that, it means think about what really is important to you. One student talked about how the dog is the center of their universe, and we all really enjoyed that. You know, we were able to connect because it came from a true voice. So if you're interested, if you're talking your truth, it really does come true. through. And people will connect with you and then connect with your story.
Yeah. And I mean, what I always want to tell the people that I work with is that, like, it's like, you know a lot already. You have knowledge, you have skills, you have really interesting aspects to your personality that people want to hear about. And that's not something that a lot of teenagers hear, is that, like, that they're really interesting or they have lots of skills. But I can tell you that you do, and that you are. And I think, and that to me is really exciting. Like I just really hope that you can channel some of that. Like take like, be proud of yourself, and like take this as an opportunity to brag a bit about how awesome you are. And where you want to go. Like, it's exciting. This is an exciting time of your life. You're going to graduate high school, and the world is open to you, right? It's wild and super fun. So, yeah. Anyways.
So don't write what you think we want to hear. Write what you want to say, please.
Mm-hmm. Another thing too is the length of the digital story is not really relevant to me. It's not about how short or how long. It's about how good it is, and I mean good, but I mean in the quality of the thought behind the writing. I've done enough digital stories with people where I can tell who has spent time writing it and who hasn't. There, like, some of the. There was one that was done last summer in a Smash workshop with a student of mine, and he's actually from Inuvik, and it's simple, but it's so poetic. It's like, being Gwich'in means to share with your community. Being Gwich'in means to learn the language. Being Gwich'in means to share. Being Gwich'in, he just wrote it like in this kind of a poem, or some kind of just a really simple but very powerful series of statements about being Gwich'in. And he had drumming music that he drummed behind it with these beautiful photos that he took, and it was amazing. And it was under 2 minutes, and like, it gives you shivers watching it because it's very powerful. So there's, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Okay. So, anything else you want to add, Megan?
I do want to add that although, yes, I mean, you are in the 20 level, so at the grade 10 level, and I know Kaylee had the opportunity to complete this project in grade 10. All I was looking for was a just do it completion thing. That there does need to be some evidence of thought in this piece, in your narration. And by that I mean, is there some authenticity to your voice? And that's, Jesse has said it a bunch of different ways. I've said it now a bunch of different ways. So writing down, my name's Megan, I'm young at heart, I like teaching, I like Inuvik, the North is fun, is not really what we're looking for. So please consider your topic, what you write about yourself, and or something else, but make sure it is considered and thoughtful. And I can't wait to hear about you and learn about you a little bit more. We've had a really disjointed semester, so it'll be a great opportunity. I'm finished now.
I have another suggestion, and it's also, I mean, it might help give an idea of how to proceed with that kind of authentic voice. Is you could start by introducing yourself, right? The same thing. Who am I? What is your name, age, community? The second part could be, in my community, I am concerned about this issue. And the third part, and describe it. And then the third part could be, this is how I intend to help solve this issue. This is how I intend to put myself out there to help. So it's not, so that could be a really powerful one too. Right. Like I know, like there's garbage in Montreal right now. All the snow is melted and there's garbage everywhere. It drives me crazy. And it's like it's like what instead of just complaining about it, I'm gonna actually go and clean some because like so I could like go and document it with my camera and then make a digital story of it. It sounds hokey, but I think it is actually really important to be thinking about the community that we're living in and how we are found, how we situate ourselves in that community. We're not just independent people that live completely alone. We are surrounded by a whole community of people, and we're a part of it. And we have a role to play, and we don't have to wait till we're adults to be engaged with our community. Okay, I gotta keep on going. Okay, so production is the second stage, and this is when you get your cameras, iPads, or phones out and you start taking photos, or you're also collecting or downloading photos from Facebook that you have taken or that are photos of you that you like, or there are some websites that you can go to for copyright-free images. CreativeCommons.org is one where people have said, yes, you can use our images for free. Put our name at the end of your movie and you can use it for free. So this is when you're going to start collecting the content for your digital story and practice recording your narration. So we're going to move into photo composition. So the word photography means the study of light, and that's a really important thing to remember. Photo meaning light, right? Like photosynthesis, you may have learned about. So light is crucial. If you don't have light, you have no photo. And so this is the first one. So there's a few different sources of light. One is the sun. Others are lights like lamps. Fluorescent lights are the worst. They're probably in your school all over the place. And then there's also flashes, right, on cameras. Flashes also are not ideal. Natural light is the best, or soft lights. So like warm tungsten lights. It's like just a different type of light. It's not so bright and ugly lights, we call them. So if you see these two photos here, this man is what we call backlit. So someone has taken a photo of him in front of a window when it's daylight. If you like that look and you want a silhouette, perfect. But if you don't, if you want to see who this man is, then you would turn and change the location of the camera. So there's light on his face and you see that. That's just an idea. So move around a bit. Rule of thirds is if you imagine a photo divided into three, both horizontally and vertically, you'll have these lines. And so an idea is to line up the subject of your photo on one of these lines, or where these two lines meet, the surfer is, and it's supposed to draw your eye up and around the photo. So it's a more dynamic, interesting photo than just the surfer in the dead center. This is just an idea. There's a lot of nice photos with the people right in the middle. So this isn't it's a misnomer. It shouldn't be called the rule of thirds because this isn't a rule. You can do whatever you want, whatever looks good to you, but this is just an idea. Distance to subject, long shot, mid shot, close up, and extreme close up. So the long shot, you see the full body and information around the subject. So we see they're in a park. Versus the extreme close up, we have no idea where she is. We don't even know if I guess we know it's a girl, but who knows really. And so these are choices. The person is standing in the same place, but we're just walking closer and closer together to them. So long shot, mid shot, close up, and extreme close up. So what I'm trying to do is get you to think about getting creative with the photos you take. You don't have to just stand in one spot and take a photo of someone. Our eyes are really interesting parts of our bodies, right? Like the human eye is just like way more, the full face is way more interesting than someone's whole body. Everyone kind of looks the same from the neck down. Okay, so then the fourth part of this photo composition tutorial is the angle of the photo. So the basketball player, this is a low angle shot looking up at her. So she looks powerful, she looks strong, and that was a creative choice. Whereas the boy, the black and white photo, the camera is looking down, making him look weak and small. So those are choices, and you can definitely choose what you want. Most people just get lazy and take an eye level photo, like with this girl with the red toque. That is also okay too. But if just play around with it, because it's fun to get on the ground and just play with angles. There are different types of photography. So there's portrait, right? This guy in Wati looks great. He's a little bit of a low angle shot. Looks happy and powerful. He looks like the mayor of the town. Then landscape usually don't have people in them. It's just like more the natural world. And you'll usually see the line of the horizon with landscape photography. Macro is a close-up, which is usually done with insects, small things, flowers, and action is obviously action. Sports and movement is action photography. And then food and selfies. And those are also very valid types of photography now in 2018. And Instagram has really helped with these two, and Facebook. Any questions about that?
No. Nope.
No. Okay. Pretty straightforward stuff. So the third step is post-production, and that's the editing. And you need to get organized. I'll say this 300 times to you. When you take the photos and you like them and you want to use them with your digital story, or you have downloaded images from the internet, please make a folder on your desktop and with your name on it and save them all in one spot. If you download an MP3 audio track, you're going to save it in that same folder. Anything else, you want to save it in one spot. It'll save you a lot of time. So whether you're using iMovie, Movie Maker, or the iMovie app, you're going to basically lay out the photos that you want in an order that you like, and you can move that around later. But just to kind of give it a sense of the timeline. Then you're going to record your narration. You're probably going to record it a few times before it's the way you like. Then you're going to add a title, credits at the end with your name, maybe the date, the music credits. Did you record the music? Did your friend, or did you download it online? And also the photo credits. And then transitions, which help blend photos together. And then you're going to export and you're going to share it with me by Friday. So this is a quick, intensive film workshop you're doing with me here, but I know you can do it. So tomorrow is due the storyboard. So by 5 p.m., you must submit to me this storyboard. Type it up, send it to me. I will send you some feedback, and then you are good to go. So here's the email address, info@handsonmediaeducation.com. Many of you have already emailed me, and I've written you back. So I think what we'll do is spend the next 25 minutes. You guys can work independently and start working on your storyboard, and I await your emails. And tomorrow we're going to edit your I'm going to show you how to edit.
That sounds great.
Okay.
So when are we sending in the narration?
By 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Jesse, for the narration,
Yeah.
did you want it kind of like line by line like we did last semester?
Yeah, that'd be
Or
great.
not yet?
That would be great. That'd be great. Yeah. Thanks, Joan.
Okay.
If you each sentence can be on one line, that would be ideal.
Okay.
It helps when you're reading it. It helps when you're reading it. That's all.
And I'm just gonna, so,
Filling out the
Stephanie,
narration
Jaden, and
on the
Ally?
storyboard.
Sorry,
Right,
Nathan.
Nathan, go ahead.
What did you say, Nathan?
I said, are we filling out the narration like on the storyboard?
I think that's more of a guide. If you want, someone just took a photo of their storyboard and emailed it to me. You can do that if you want, or you can just send it as a Word document. The template that I've sent you has the questions, so that's helpful for some people. Some people like paper and pens. Others like to type it out. It'll be easier for me to edit if it's typed. But it's up to you. Megan, what were you asking?
I just wanted to know who, now I'm thinking about attendance, so I was wondering if it was Jaden, Jesse, and Ally in for Good Hope.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, good. Okay. And, Taylor, are you there in Aquatic?
Yeah.
Hey, how are you doing? Do you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay. And, I see Kaylee and, okay, I can't wait to see. You can also, are you going to share their narrations with me for feedback, or do you want to do one person giving feedback?
Good question. I mean, I'll start, and if it gets to be, if I get too much, if it's too much work, then I'll start sending them to you. I think one person just needs to be doing it. So for consistency.
If you want to, if you want to deal with ideas and the grammatical part gets to be too much, you could send me your thoughts, and then I can give guidance on the structure.
Okay.
But what
Is
were you
Mitchell present?
Okay.
Pardon, Nathan?
Is Mitchell around?
I think Mitchell's in the morning class.
Okay. Never mind then.
Actually, I don't know why I said that. I know Mitchell is in the morning class. All right, I'll stop talking and enjoy writing.
Okay. And
Thank you, Jesse.
yeah, and if you can always email me if you have questions, and we can talk on the phone if you'd like. Or I can just give you feedback by email. If you just want to bounce off some ideas, I'd be happy to help. So good luck and have fun. And I'm excited. I'm so excited to read what you have.
Me
See you
too.
tomorrow.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, à demain.
Bye.
Bye.